And this was not one that we announced before, but it's very topical, relevant right now and in the future, called. And again, Sharyn and Sarah. Oh, I have to turn off the banner for you guys to see. So I'm Sharyn Sheldon, Sarah Arrow from Content Sparks. Yeah, I got three monitors going here. So we're going to go through this today, and we're going to talk a little bit about how the course addresses marketing in tough times, the strategies and the philosophy behind how we put this course together. And then we'll go actually inside the course more and show you what you're going to get, what you're going to teach when you get your license to it, and what some of the bonuses are for the launch. So just so that you know, this is the URL that you'll be able to go to, and you can go to anytime. Pretty obvious, contentsparks.com/marketing in tough times. All right, hopefully a memorable one for you. And I am going to jump straight in and share my screen right here, because we are going to go through, I'm not going to tell you about the bonuses right now because we want to go through the course itself. This is what the sales page looks like when you get to it. There's a little thing on the top if you want to jump in, and then you'll see this, and you'll be able to go through and read all about it and see what's covered in each module and lesson, so that you don't have to go back and watch this whole video again either. All right. So that's that. Let me hide this. And Sarah, should we just jump in and go through the high level graphics slides, or do you want to look at something else?
Let's go through them, because I'm really quite excited for this program. It's something that pretty much everyone needs, because no matter where you are in the world, there's always something going on, which is really quite sad. But in crisis, there's also opportunity, and it's your opportunity to help people and to help them overcome their stuckness and get them moving again.
That's a word, stuckness.
If it wasn't, it is now.
And this is another one of those courses that is very important for you to look at and go through, and to help your clients. All right. That's true of a lot of our courses, most of them, I would say. This one in particular, because I know as a coach or consultant, really any business you're in, that's when times are tough, you are the one that tends to get cut. And I know this from my own experience, because I used to do consulting for corporate clients. And in each time there's been a downturn, my business went down. So the biggest time was 2008. And that's when I said, enough already. I need to have my own business where I'm in charge. It's up to me whether I have business, I have clients or not. And it's up to me to deal with the challenges. So you, as your own boss, have to take that same attitude that is totally in your control, no matter what the times are. So that said, before I jump in, just a reminder, you can leave comments, who you are, have you suffered at all from the current times, or you see your clients dealing with difficult times, pop that in, tell us where you're from as well, because I'd love to hear. All right. So when you get a license to the course, you get 3 main folders of materials: student, instructor, and lead generation materials. The student materials are for your students, for them to go through and learn from. Instructor materials are for you, for teaching, and the lead generation materials are for marketing your course and attracting leads and building your email list. So I'm going to go in the student materials, there's a folder called graphics, and that is all the graphics from the course book and the slides. And I'm going to use those to actually show you the high level of the course. All right. And if you can't see me right now, please just, let me know any problems you're having. I see there's a comment that says Facebook user, love this platform, great resource for building a business. If you're on the Facebook Live and it says Facebook user, I think there's something you have to click to approve that your name is shown. Do I have something. It says for StreamYard, you can give permission to see your name if you go to streamyard.com/Facebook. So I just want to make sure you know that so we can address you by name. Okay. So let's hide that. All right. So I'm going to go in now, as I said, and stop showing this because it keeps doing that. I'm going back and forth here. That was that. Hide that. Okay. Sorry, guys. Slides. Let's get in there in these graphics and open them up. Bring it over to the correct screen. Give me 1 second. All right. Now I have it on the right monitor.
Yay!
Yay! So this is the first slide, the first graphic. So it's the high-level overview of what you'll cover in the course when you teach this, when you learn from it. And those elements are adopting a positive mindset, absolutely critical in tough times, evolving your brand so it's crisis resistant, implementing tactics that raise your profile, your visibility, investigating what your customers value about you, because you do need to deliver, you have to focus on value. Choose tactics that demonstrate that value. So we're all about value, not price. Learn more about your subscribers, give them a wow experience because the experience is really important. And then inbound marketing, and you'll create your own tough times marketing plan with quick wins. All right. So that's the roadmap through the course. And then this is the high level model that the course follows. So we have it as pieces of the pie because they're all fundamentals for dealing with difficult times in your business. And not just dealing and surviving, but growing, because these are all things that are also important for growing your business and setting it up to be crisis resistant, to weather any storm, whether it's an actual storm or some other economic downturn like a pandemic. Oh, we just went through that. It changed a lot of people's businesses. So there are 5 elements here. The course goes through each one. The first is mindset. We always talk about mindset. We just finished a launch of something on mindset. Here we're focusing on it differently. It's about a positive mindset during tough times and the things you can do to develop that. Building a memorable brand and things you can do right now to boost your brand and keep it memorable. Delivering massive value, because as I mentioned before, it's not about price and price cutting, it's about value. People will always spend money, buy things if they see the value in it for them right now. Same with the meaningful customer experience. People value that and will pay for it because it makes a difference to the results that they get and how they feel about your brand. And finally, the last piece, marketing. I know the course is called Marketing in Tough Times, but marketing tactics, there are certain ones you can do that work well in difficult times, but continue to help you so that you're set up for future times as well. So there are specific tactics. These all fit together for marketing in tough times. And then, so keep that pie in mind. And then I'll just go through some of the slides, all right, these are just like the high level ones. And when you actually deliver the course, these are in the slides and you'll talk through them. And there's more detail in the course book, which I can show you. But when it comes to the mindset part, it's about believing in yourself and focusing on opportunities. Those are the critical parts of having that positive mindset for marketing in tough times. The two go together. And there are certain tips in the course, like staying resilient, keeping calm, don't panic, stop comparing yourself to other people because that's not going to help you, comparing yourself to the competition, getting out of the problem zone. I would have to go back to the course book and see what we were talking about there. Having a support network. What were you going to say, Sarah?
I was going to say, quit the comparisons. As you know, my blogging business and content marketing really came out of the 2008 recession. That was the skill we learned that got us through, that won 7-figure contracts for the transport company we had. And it was the foundation of everything. But one of the things that I did throughout that time was constantly compare myself to other bloggers all of the time. I'm only getting 700 visitors a month. Never mind, my 700 visitors were people like Disney, Ford, Catherine Tate, all big names, all big brands. You know, I was fixated on the numbers. Other people were getting 1,000 a week, but I'm only getting 700 a month. Never mind, half of those 700 became customers who were repeat customers. I was absolutely comparing myself to the wrong things, to the wrong people. So you really do have to stop those comparisons. And I know it's really hard. So I'll be fixated on that section of the program. And it's something that I can actually share with my audience and say, I know how tough it was because I was in this position. And I know it's not something you can switch off overnight, that you still have the, how comes DHL are getting 60,000 likes on that and it's nothing? Can I put out this amazing thing and get 10? Never mind, all my 10 were great customers and DHLs were people in passing who really hated them. And if you read the comments, they'd say, oh, DHL means deliveries hopelessly lost and things like that. You know, we always had nice comments, but I was looking and seeing something that wasn't there, as in more likes equals more success. And that's the really good thing about having one of these programs from Content Sparks, is you get to interject your experiences. And I'm pretty sure there's some of you on this call watching right now and say, gosh, yeah, I was like that once too. I can share that with my audience. And I overcome it with this. Let me see what's in the course so I can add my experience to this. So it's a really good thing that if you're looking at this and thinking to yourself, gosh, yes, I've overcome that, I've dealt with that, because that's how you can share your growth with your audience and they know that it really does work.
Yeah. And actually, looking at this slide, one of the things I like about it is if you were just looking at this slide and these points out of the context of this course, they could apply to a lot of different courses. So if you're just helping entrepreneurs get started, these are all key things that you need to do to stay the course and build a business. Can't be focusing just on problems. You need to have a support network. You need to manage your stress, not always compare yourself to other businesses, because what works for them may not work for you. Staying calm, resilient, all these things are essential. So they're even more essential when times are difficult. So that's one of the things I think I mentioned before somewhere else, is that this course can be repurposed a bit for other times too, and in other situations, not just difficult times, but in building a business or as part of another curriculum with marketing. So, or in building a resilient business at any time. So keep that in mind too. This is still an evergreen course, not something that's just for now. And if we go ahead, so mindset was that first part of the pie. If you remember, I can go back here. That was that pie where you start with mindset, brand, value, customer experience, marketing. So then when we get to this bit, we're talking about the brand, building that memorable brand that people will follow regardless of the times. Making sure that you're clear on what you want to be known for, offering what people want. And of course, there's color, logo, design, all that sort of stuff that's important. So there's a section on that, building a memorable brand. This is not a full branding course, but if that's something that's a real problem for your clients, for your audience, this is a place where you could expand in the course and bring in some of those other pieces from other branding courses. So remember that also as we go through each of these things. We'll go through things they can do now immediately and building for the future, and then you can expand on that with more material. But when people are going through really tough times, you don't want to put them through a course that takes 3 months to get results. You need to do some practical stuff right now, have them identify things they can do right now. So I don't want to hear from people, oh, but there's so much more to branding than these things. Yes, there's a lot more to all of this. But when somebody needs to take action now, you don't want them to take 3 months or 4 months to get there. All
The
right.
other thing is, if you talk about there's so much more to it, you put them in a position of overwhelm and they can't start. And you would rather your audience make a step in the right direction than stay stuck. Because if you overwhelm them with, yes, there's more to branding than this, there's this, there's this, there's this, there's this, not only have they zoned out, they feel incapable. And you don't want them feeling that when they take this course. You want them to feel that they're Superman, that they can do anything, that they can get amazing results. So,
And I'll bet you there are people listening right now, whether you're watching it now or the replay, who are thinking, yeah, there's a lot, who were thinking, yeah, there's a lot more to branding than this.
mm.
All right. So if that's one of you, you can comment. Let me know. That's okay.
I
I
think
can
on
take
this
it.
slide, I'm going to have a picture of somebody dressed up as a superhero.
There's also some other things around that being honest, show you care, stay true to your values. These are all things that are important for being part of a memorable brand. Points of difference, things like that. And then the next part of the pie, I need to go back and find my pie piece, is so we have memorable brand, massive value. Where's my massive value slide? Oh,
Oh, two
marketing.
slides at once. That was fancy.
I didn't even know I could do that. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here on what you can do to show the massive value as well. So you've got things like value for money spent, time saved, feeling great. These are all things that people value, not how much money they're spending necessarily. Sure, that's an issue for a lot of people, but there are other things that are more important that outweigh those. So you have to look at your audience and think about what they value when you're doing your marketing at any time, but particularly during those tough times. Saving time, increased efficiency is worth a lot of money. Do they need more accountability? Are they watching every cent? Do they want convenience? All these things you need to identify in your own audience. And then when you're doing your messaging and doing your marketing, you want to focus on the value part of pricing, adding more value for what they get, cross sells, upsells, quality. And yes, you can even raise your prices when you're adding more because they're getting that much more out of it. So it's not about price cutting. A lot of people fall into that trap when times are tough and they start running these huge sales. And sales are great short term, but they're going to just decrease the value of your brand and your products over time. So that's not necessarily the answer. That's a very short term thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's about actually doing a meaningful customer experience. So if I go back once again to our pie chart, that meaningful customer experience is your next part of the pie. And you've got a bunch of different things in here. I hope my pictures load because I see some errors. So think about who they are, what they need in terms of an experience. There are examples in here of where they might be in their experience. They've bought things, they haven't bought things in a while, they've signed up but haven't taken action. And then think about what you can do to actually give a good experience. Setting up calls, sending emails, asking what they've been through, finding out why they need help. There are lots of different things that make a difference that nobody else is necessarily doing, your competitors. Yes, we told you not to compare yourself to competitors, but you can also look and see what they're doing, what they're not doing to deliver what your customers need in terms of their experience. So you want to look at that, gather that information as well. Um, and there's a bunch of different things you can do: being available, building your brief, making sure your team understands what they need and everyone's on the same page, staying in touch, getting feedback. All these things are part of delivering a fabulous experience that people value in all times, and particularly in tough times. So we went through mindset, memorable brand, massive value, customer experience. Then we come to marketing, right? And there are two types of marketing: outbound, that's when you're pushing out ads and things like that and reaching out to customers, and inbound, which is where you attract people to yourself. And the inbound marketing is particularly important in difficult times because it's evergreen. It's always going to be out there and it's delivering value to people. So it's more of that value and help.
The other thing that I'll add is with the proliferation of social media, people are connected to their family, they're connected to their friends. So if they're struggling with something, they're not going to type it into Twitter as in, I need help with finding a deodorant that stops me smelling, because they'll get, if that was me typing that in, my dad would be on the phone saying, oh, Shelley Smelly, is that you? And I'll be, oh God, he hasn't called me Shelley for years, why is he calling me that again? You know, and then I'll have to sit down and have to have my asthma pump and probably a large glass of wine, and if I smoked I'd probably need a cigar just to calm down my blood levels after having him call me child names on the thing. And then I'll have my uncle call me, oh, smelly gat, your deodorant's not working, right? So I'm never going to share that I'm having deodorant problems on social media, because my family will never, never let me hear the end of it. I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to type something in Google. My deodorant has stopped working. And people are exactly the same. If they're struggling with something, they're not going to go and say on Facebook, as much as they preach honesty, transparency, and asking for help, they're not going to do it on social media because everybody sees it. And you only have to see in the media that somebody says something 15 years ago on Twitter that's now front page news. They may have said it before they were even famous. They may not have even meant it how it's come across. It could have been sarcasm, yet here it is, a tweet as front page news, because it lasts forever on the internet. Mm-hmm. So they go to search engines and type things, and they type all of the serious things they're struggling with into search engines. So inbound marketing in tough times is so, so powerful. And if you haven't got the SEO course, you need to go and get that and apply it to your own business, because seriously, people type in things to search engines that they do not ever say on Facebook. They don't ever say it in their emails. They probably don't even say it on their phone because they know Facebook is listening to everything. They probably sit in their garden so Alexa can't hear and say, here's your deodorant list. Would you like me to send it to your Amazon basket? And you'll be like, go away, Alexa. No, no, no. Because I think how people still want to do things privately, and having inbound marketing for your business and talking about the things that people are struggling with that they may not mention on social media is a really, really powerful resource. And it will only ever do you wonderful things. So I'll get back off my soapbox and allow you to look at the next slide.
Yeah, so you mentioned about not wanting to go onto social media, and the SEO makes a big difference on that, but social media content for other things is still part of that inbound that's going to draw people to you. So just be aware of which things work, which don't. This is all part of things you can do in tough times. So there's some things you would want to put on social media that'll create that solidarity, show that you understand, reinforce your brand, all those things. Sharing resources that'll help people. These are all things that build that experience and the goodwill that are going to help people in tough times or any time, right? So these are just some tips that are in the course. Um, there's some different things. So there's unexpected crises. These are all things, the reason you want to create a plan and set up these things in advance. And then you get to, sorry, this is from the last module. I mentioned I'm going through the slides, the graphics that are on the slides. I'm not going through the whole slideshow. I just want to give you an overview of what's covered in the course. So then you need to build a plan. In the course, you build and you'll help your clients build a tough times marketing plan. And yes, I'll show you that in a moment. And that will, in the plan, there's stuff for immediate actions, because the course is all about taking some immediate actions right now and building for the future so that you can always weather any storms and any that you can't anticipate. And then they'll go through some action planning, all of that at the end, and that will be the end of the course. So let's go back now. Remember, add any questions in. I see Charles said, I like it covers proactive and reactive circumstances and what to do. That's one of the things I love about this course, and the reason it's so evergreen is that you can help people right now, but also help them make sure in the future they can always weather any storm and be resilient and always be thriving and thinking ahead, because these are core, these are fundamental things, those pieces of the pie that I showed you, that this one, if it opens up, this piece of the pie, that's the core, the model of the course, focusing on mindset, memorable brand, massive value, meaningful customer experience, and the marketing. So 5 M's. You can call it whatever you want. You can change the letters and make your own acronym. I'm fine with that.
What I really like about this program is once you've delivered this, you have the opportunity to sell an accountability membership where you may jump on a Zoom with a group of people once every 2 weeks where you help keep them accountable. Are they still doing things on brand? Are they still marketing? Are they focusing on their inbound marketing? And so on. So not only do you get to do a course with them, you can actually, when you've taken your people through the program, offer them an accountability membership where you can come together twice a month or once a month, and that helps give you some nice recurring revenue so that you're always about to help your audience. And that's the main thing here, is showing people that it can be done.
Exactly. And one of the things I like, one of the things at the end of the course they do, I was mentioning, is this tough times marketing plan that has 2 tabs in it, one for immediate action, one for longer term action. And you set top priorities and action steps for each one, including deadlines and where you need help. And one thing you could do with this, or that you could have your students do, is put this into a Google sheet where everyone can collaborate and also be on the same page. So if you have team members, they can see immediately what the overall plan is. And also if you have team members who are also during difficult times getting kind of stressed out, are they going to be losing their job? Are they going to be get paid? Are they, are you doing anything to ensure that the business is continuing and growing? If you're all working together on a plan and they see what's going on, then that's going to help everyone just perform better with under less stress too, and help everyone is in it together with helping make sure it's put in place as well. Okay. What else? What else do you want to see in here? If you guys have something specific you want me to open from the course, make sure you tell me, because otherwise Sarah and I are just going to keep going with whatever we feel like showing you.
A little bird tells me there's a assessment with this, if you'd like to share that with us.
Okay.
Charles, I'll just pop up your thing. Accountability membership, that's a phrase I'm not familiar with. How does that look when compared to individual or group coaching? So an accountability membership would be something that is a recurring payment to you, and you might charge $39 a month for it, or it might be $297 a month. It depends on you and your audience. It would be a group call It's not an individual call, it would be a group call, particularly if it's at the lower price point. If it's at the higher price point, then obviously that may be an individual call. So you can offer perhaps both options if it appeals to you. But the goal of the call is to hold somebody accountable, that they come on and they say, this is what I've done last month. And then you go back and say, have you done this part of the pie? Have you worked on your mindset? How are you feeling with that? Have you worked on your memorable brand? How's that coming along? So you would just go through the segments of the pie with them, and they would reflect back to you where they're going. Have they done any of the short-term proactive things? Are they looking at implementing some of the longer-term things? And then they tell you where they're struggling. And for you, that is phenomenal research, because if you find that they're all struggling with their brand stuff, you just go and buy Sharyn's branding program and sell it to them to help them over this hurdle. You may give them a accountability membership discount, so they may get it for, say, $247 instead of $497. So you can do all sorts of things with it. You just need to understand where your audience is, because when somebody's coming in for accountability, they're not necessarily asking you to tell them what to do. They're just wanting somebody to go back to and say, I've done it, or I've not done it, as the case may be. I know that when my husband says, I'm going to check this at Friday 5 p.m, it's done at Friday 5 p.m. Yeah, I know that when I'm doing stuff for Content Spark, Sharyn gives me a deadline. She says, I need this by Tuesday. And on Monday night at 5 to midnight, I'm like, phew, thank goodness I've done it. But without that content accountability in play, Sharyn could get it a week on Friday. She could get it 2 months overdue. So the accountability really helps people take action. It really helps move them forward. And those that don't move forward will drop out real swiftly, particularly if they see others moving forward and can't move forward themselves. So they will say, okay, but everyone else here is moving forward. I'm going to really double down and get this done. So it's a really, really powerful thing, and it doesn't take a huge amount of input from you. You're listening. You're not needing to create content for it. So you're listening and steering people back to track. And it may be, I notice you've not done any of your mindset work this month. Is there something stopping you? And that's not you creating the content. They're going to tell you that they've not done that. And then you're going to reflect it back to them. So it's a really powerful thing that's very low content for you. And your main job on the whole thing is to listen. Mm-hmm. So if you decide to do that, let us know how you get on. We'd love to have you come on and share how it's gone for you. And this particular program really supports the accountability side of it afterwards. That's not to say no other program does, because there are ones that do and ones that are not so geared towards it. This one is probably 99% geared towards having this lovely accountability part after.
Yeah, it also, I think, could be geared nicely to one of those virtual co-working spaces.
Oh yes, that would be fabulous, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
maybe that's what you offer, a virtual co-working space once a week and an accountability call at the end of the month. Mm-hmm. There's so many things you can do and how you package it up. And maybe you've got 3 tiers to it, like a one-to-one call, a accountability group call and co-working, and then just an accountability call.
Yeah. And if you're not familiar with the whole idea of virtual co-working, it's where you have a set period of time where everyone comes together and is online, but everyone's working on their own stuff. So you get that community feeling and a little bit of accountability. And what you as kind of the moderator does is you can go in to and answer questions for people. quietly so you don't disturb the rest, but privately when somebody's stuck during that co-working time. So that's been really powerful, I know, for a lot of businesses, and people love it. We have one customer who set up one, I think it was Mary, that was very, very successful, where she had set aside 2 or 3 hours, I think, where she was just there online ready to answer questions, but everyone was doing their own work. So that's a really useful thing too. Just another idea for you. You don't have to do it. Um, the assessment you want you to see. So this is one of the bonuses. Usually our bonus with our bigger Blaze courses is the challenge kit, and you do get one of those. It's a 5-day challenge where we've taken the report that's in your lead generation materials and we've broken it up into 5 days with 5 emails and worksheets so that you can deliver it as a challenge instead of just, here's a report. Because people like that guidance, and then you're showing how you can help them and building that rapport that makes it a natural sale at the end. So they get a little bit of a taster of each of those 5 M's. And then they say, you know what, I really need more help with this. I'd like to dive into it deeper. I've already gotten a little bit of a start on dealing with what's going on. Now I'm ready to take it further. So it's very natural, and it's one of the reasons challenges are so popular. So you'll get that, the materials for that, but you also get this assessment, which is also great as a lead magnet and other purposes. It's called, Is Your Business Prepared for Tough Times? And that helps people also just see, okay, am I even in a good place right now to deal with the difficult times going on? Or, am I in a good place now so that when something like this happens again in the future, or there are other difficult times, is my business set up for it? And this is great both as a lead magnet or as something you could do when someone signed up for the course so that they're in the right mindset, they recognize and are excited about taking the course. And you can also see where people are at if they submit the results, because there are 20 questions in here. They're all yes, no, very easy to answer. And then there's a scoring key at the end. So you'll see that there's 11 to 20 points, 6 to 10, 0 to 5. And they get 1 point for each yes. They total it up, they read their scores, and then you can debrief it, say, on a group call or as an icebreaker when you're first starting the course, if you have it as kind of pre-work for students coming into your course, and you can have a discussion, how did you do? Where do you want to focus on? You get a sense of where you might spend more time. So lots of different uses for this. And with the Word document, it's all ready for you to upload. Most online course platforms have some sort of quiz feature you could use, but there are other tools out there like, I think somebody last time on our last call said Typeform. Is that the one, Sarah, that they also used? Google has forms you can use as well to gather results. There's lead quizzes, there's Thrive quizzes. So, see what tool works for you. But we also give it to you in a Canva format. So Canva's free. We provide you with other things in Canva in the past because people love it. It's free, or there's a paid version where you can get more images. And that is in here. You'll get a link, and then what's going to happen is in the document with the link, which looks like this. So there's a little link in there. I don't know what just happened, but I have a new computer.
Too many screens.
I have a new computer with Windows 11, and I haven't quite mastered it yet. But you'll follow that link, and what it'll do is it'll open up a place in Canva for you to make a copy of the template. And when you make a copy, you'll see it in here, and there's a first page with some instructions, and then you can go down and change various things. You can change the color. So if I'm not going to mess with this because this is the one that you get. It's a template. I'm just going to make a copy here, and it'll open it up in a new tab for me. So you'll just change the title, and you can go through and change the color. That is not one of my colors. I have the paid Canva, so I have a brand kit in here already. So I might change that and go down to the bottom and click change all so that the background everywhere is now my branded background. You'll want to go in and change the logo at the bottom. So in here, you'll put your logo or URL, and then you can make this a printable. So save it as a PDF. Do not give someone the Canva file. Do not give them a Canva template. This is yours. All the files that you get when you get a license to our course have to be converted either to a PDF or some other format, or into videos. The slides are for videos. Do not share the editable documents. Okay, very, very important. So you can go through this, make it a PDF, send it to people. They can fill it out. People love to print something out. It's a great reminder, and tick off their scores at the end. So it's all nicely designed, and you can edit it however you want. And then you can have a little call to action at the end to your course. So if you make this into a PDF and you make this a link, this call to action right here, you can go in and link in Canva and put in, say, if it was us, we'd say contentsparks.com/marketing in tough times. That was the URL of the course. And then that becomes clickable when you save it as a PDF. So people get it, they'll click on it, see your course, boom, check it out. And they'll end up on your sales page. This one ends up on ours. And that was, just so you remind you, that was this URL. That's for the sales page, marketing in tough times. And I think I saw a comment.
Yeah, Charles was asking if there was a replay, and he was introduced to us by Justin. So thank you, Justin, and
great.
Welcome.
Yeah, this is being streamed in 3 places, because in StreamYard I can do that. So we have it as a Facebook Live event, as a YouTube Live, and as LinkedIn Live. So you should be able to watch it in each of those places as a replay. This is the first time that StreamYard now makes this a Facebook Live event instead of just a live stream where you can go watch the video. So I'm not sure right now where that shows up. We're going to find out afterwards, and then I'll make sure that it's also posted on the page and in the customer group if I need to change that link. But you should be able to watch the replay via that link, or just go to our YouTube channel as well. I know, Charles, you're on Facebook right now. I can see that. All right, let's get back. Questions at all? Anyone? Pop them in. Even if you're just watching the replay here, tag us and we'll see the questions. All right.
Remember, you don't just get the assessment as the bonus, you also get the challenge if you are early enough, and it's part of the early bird, and I do recommend you get it. Challenges are a really popular way of marketing your courses, and it's all, the work is all done for you. You can see it right here. You get the emails, so you paste that in, and then you can deliver it on social media, like in a Facebook community. You can have a pop-up group where you just do your challenge, and then afterwards you archive that group. So if people want your attention and help, they have to take the next step for it. The group isn't open forever to them. So there's lots you can do with this, and you can use the emails as scripts for your training, so they can give you prompts, and you can send those emails out to people and direct them to wherever you're delivering the training live. So there's so much you can do with it. These are just really, really powerful pieces of content. And Scott Hall, about leveraging the emails as a potential cold sequence. The challenge emails as a potential cold sequence work their absolute best when you deliver a video with them and that you have the interaction with the audience. Now, as you know, in marketing, once upon a time, you needed 7 touch points before somebody was so familiar with their brand they could make a buying decision. Now you need a bit more, because social media is prolific, and people, I think it's 237 advertising points a minute they are bombarded with. So they are overwhelmed with the advertising messages that they're receiving. A challenge enables you to dig deep with your audience. It enables them to interact with you, and you increase your marketing touch points. So over the 5 days, they would have had emails from you, follow up emails, giving them a link to the replay if you want to do that. They would have had interaction in the Facebook group. They would have commented. You would have replied to those comments. So there's a lot going on. You would have issued them a worksheet if you do that. And there is a lot of interaction and a lot of engagement, and that helps them connect with you as a trainer, as a coach, as a consultant, and they get ready to take the next steps with you. Yeah. Challenges have a huge conversion rate. So I would prefer people to do them as a challenge because that makes it easier for you. But I can see that you would potentially want to use them as a cold email sequence. So in that scenario, you have to assume a lot about your client or your potential course student. You have to assume things about them, whereas when you're delivering a live, they'll tell you. They'll say, I'm struggling with this. You have to assume that they're struggling with the marketing, but you don't know what specifics. And you can ask them to reply, and some of them will. But the majority of times that I've run a challenge as a cold email sequence without a group and without the interaction, you get very few replies. Yeah. So I would prefer, like I say, do it as a challenge. Try it once. What's the worst that could happen? You could sell out your course. That's the absolute worst.
And you can also make it a multi-step type of funnel where they start with this assessment. So this is another thing to test. They start with just a simple assessment where they can fill it in. They're not making a commitment to even a 5-day challenge. And then after they've seen where their business is for tough times, you could feed them into that challenge, which I'll just show you that again. You know, you have the emails. So at that point, they've seen a little bit of you, have a little bit of an introduction. And when they download the assessment, you could have a video on your download page so they know who they're dealing with, who put this assessment together. So they get that first introduction to who you are and why they should complete the assessment. Then you can also have a little video to introduce them to the challenge. They walk through the 5 days. And if you have a video for each day, that's a great connection as well. But as Sarah said, whenever you can add a live element, particularly with a cold audience, you're going to get better conversions there. They need to get to know you. Otherwise, you're just some random person off the streets who they don't know, and why should they listen to you or buy anything from you or even take your challenge? That's why the initial live element is so important, especially, and even if it's just a video, but definitely the live as well. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit. Okay.
The other thing is, if you run it as a challenge and do the lives once, you can then download those videos. If you do the Q&A at the end, you can chop that part off to protect people's privacies. And then you've just got the training bit that you can embed into a page on your website or have it as an unlisted YouTube. And then you can send people there via your emails. And you can always say to them, remember, leave me a comment or send me an email. So you just got to incorporate that part into your training when you're delivering it live. Yeah. And I think if you did it that way, it would probably work better cold rather than doing the videos, never having delivered it live. Because when you deliver it live, you learn so much about your audience. And I forget which blog post it is. I think it's the one coming out this weekend. It talks about the language of your audience. In America, you're called moms if you're a mother. And in the UK, you're a mum with a U, not an O. But you can also be a man, and you can be a mama, and you can be all kinds of things. So the language that you use resonates with a particular type of person. So you only get that when you run it live, when people interact with you, and they'll say, oh, actually, don't call me mama. That sounds really posh. Just call me a mum or ma'am or whatever they prefer. And that means you can go back and adjust your emails and say, dear wannabe man or dear older man, whatever they prefer in the terms of language. And that just increases your conversions.
Yep. And I know some people have been joining us a little bit later. Remember, you can watch a replay of this, and you can also tag us with your questions if you have questions. Particularly in Facebook, we'll see the tags. It doesn't work as well in the other places. And it's Sarah Arrow. Ooh, did I say that? And Sharyn Sheldon, just so you know. And this is the URL of what we've been talking about, which is this course, The Marketing in Tough Times. All right. There was another question I wanted to answer. So, are there any service providers that you can recommend to help us rebrand the material? I've been struggling with that for all courses that I've purchased thus far. Now, in our customer Facebook group, there is a thread where virtual assistants have put their information. So you can just type in virtual assistant in the search and that should come up. Or if you really want, you can just ask again, put a post in and say, hey, I'm looking for somebody to help me with rebranding. As a customer, you are welcome to do that in the group. I am all there to support our virtual assistants. I know we have a lot of them, and because they're customers, they're already familiar with our materials. So those are the best people to help you. All right. And just check them out. Give them one thing to do first. You do need, with anybody, any assistant that you hire, make sure you try them out and make sure you do some training time, because they need to understand your voice. They need all the materials from you for branding. That's how you're going to get the best results. And if you can stick with somebody, they get to know you and your style, and they'll do an even better job, a faster job. If you need help with setting it up online as well, that's something a lot of the people in our group know how to do, and we'll work with whatever tools that you have also. Okay, so that's my recommendation there on doing that.
We have one more from Charles. Is there a size business this content is recommended for? For example, solopreneurs, small locally owned business, e-commerce companies of $1 million in revenue or less, etc.
So we design all our courses specifically for small business owners and entrepreneurs. All right. So, and service providers, right? But depending on the course, it could work for bigger companies also. It's just that you might need to tweak it a little bit, particularly with examples. So if you're working with a bigger company, you want to do a little bit of needs analysis with them first to really understand what their issues are. Now, smaller companies, you would also do needs analysis, but they tend to have more of the same. A big company has a lot more stakeholders involved that you're going to need to work with. So make sure you have one stakeholder when you do a proposal for them, and include in your proposal some needs analysis so that you can make sure you're focusing on the same thing or on the right thing. So that's really important with those companies. That's why I don't work with big companies any longer. I like working with coaches and smaller businesses. It's what I used to do when I worked as a consultant with a big consulting firm. So definitely familiar with that. But these are all basic fundamentals, that the mindset and all the others, and you could take each one and expand on it too. But remember, companies who are really trying to deal with difficult times need help immediately with quick wins they can do. Okay, I think that is it on our questions. We are almost up on time. So I just want to reinforce that this is an evergreen course, goes through fundamentals, and the model is the 5 M's that I showed you before, which I could probably open up quickly. Again, it's in the student materials, in the graphics. That's this particular slide. And these are the 5 areas it goes through. For each one of them through the course, you're going to look at the fundamentals of what they need to do in that area, and then quick things that they can do right away and things that will set them up for the future as well. All right. And deliver it, if you're delivering it during some time where when we have a booming market again and there's no crisis going on, you would just tweak it so that, look at history. This could happen. This is going to help you really thrive now and be set up to be a resilient business. If it's entrepreneurs, startups who are having a tough time right now, it's another thing where there's fundamentals and you can just tweak the language in it as well. So I love the course.
It's a great program, and I think it's a great starting point or a great addition to your curriculum.
Okay. All right. So that's it for the questions. Please head over to the URL, grab your license now, because you do want to get those 2 launch bonuses, and they only are ever available for a few days. I think Wednesday is the last day next week, but time gets away. I always get people who are last minute. Oh, I didn't see your gazillion emails that you sent out. And I don't want that to be you. I want you to be able to grab it at the launch price with the launch bonuses. All right. So drop us any questions, watch the replay if you missed anything. There are a lot of tips in here. I know we were going through pretty rapidly. You'll get that overview of what's covered in the course as well. So you should get a really good sense. The launch bonuses, again, are that 5-day challenge kit that we talked about with the follow-up email. So it breaks up the challenge, breaks up the information from your opt-in report into a 5-day challenge with worksheets. And you could use the slides from your lead generation material too for doing live streams or recorded videos for that. And then the other bonus is that assessment that people can take. Is your business prepared for tough times? So people take that, they get a sense, how prepared are they? Where do they need to focus? And that can lead into the challenge. It can lead into the course. It can be pre-work for the course so that you get a good sense of where people are and they're set up in their mind, excited, ready to dive into the course. So remember, that's a really multi-purpose thing too. And that's it. Oh, there's a bonus if you get the upgrade pack. I almost forgot. How could I forget? There's an upgrade pack that we've been doing these for all our courses now too, because we got great feedback on it, which is sales page copy that is all set up with placeholders for you to tweak it, make it your own, add your own stories, load that into your favorite landing page template. I recommend that you always have a template set up of your own, kind of like what we do with ours. And it doesn't matter if you change it over time. We're always working on tweaking this and split testing things. But if you have a template set up, then you can grab stuff from that sales page copy and fit it into whatever design you have. And then the other thing in there is module quizzes. So I'm not going to give that all away now because we're kind of out of time. But the module quizzes are quizzes that go with each one of the modules in the course for testing people's knowledge. Or you can use them as discussion points. Say you deliver a module or a lesson and then get everyone together and talk about the questions in the quizzes. And there's upgrade bonus for that with some social media images. So assessments are powerful tools for leading with immediate value while prospecting. Yep. Absolutely. We started doing more of those recently.
I love them, and particularly in the upgrade pack, because if you're looking to do more things and build your audience, some of those questions in quizzes make great prompts for live streams. And I've said this countless every time we have a launch video, and I say these are great prompts, and you can say to your audience, have you done this? Can you answer this question? Leave me a comment and get them interacting and engaging with you. These module quizzes are so flexible. You can use them in so many different ways, as well as module quizzes. They're lead generating quizzes. They can be used as prompts for journaling. There's all sorts of things you can do with them. So I always recommend getting the upgrade plan, but then I buy everything, you know me. Long-term customer, buy all of everything.
Yeah, but you use it, and that's
Mm.
key. You actually
Yeah.
take action. That's one of the
And
great things. Yeah.
I can't tell you how much time you save by having a sales page thing where you just add in the bits that are personalized to you and to your audience. And I just like convenience.
And that's the final word. So with that, we're going to close it out and look for your questions. Go grab your license. Let us know how it goes. All right. Take care. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of the day, night, and so on. Talk to you soon.